90% of it is complete bullshit if it's not used correctly.
Hello and welcome to Mobile Heroes Uncensored, episode 10. My name is John Gauchet and my co-host is Peggy and John, and somehow we have made it to episode 10. I'd like to thank the Academy, my mom, Peggy's cat. Peggy wanted to say something in this intro, but she got all choked up. In honor of 10, I have added some outtakes to the very end of this video, and yes, I am dancing. Of course, now you're going straight to the end. It's like eating dessert first, or maybe getting the horror movie done as quickly as possible. Wow. Thanks for joining. And enjoy the ride, because it's only getting better from here. I mean, it could hardly get any worse, right? Peggy, why did the missionary hire a multivariate tester?
I don't even get what those two things have to do with each other. I'm just trying to figure out.
You will. His conversion rate sucked. Well, hey,
John,
so he's going to multivariate test. Absolutely. Why not?
John, it's impossible that you find these in Reddit because there's no community on this planet that's going to talk about these things.
You know, here's the trick. You find something, you have an idea, and you adapt it. And so it becomes your own. It's not theft. It's
You made
adaptability.
You made it up. I can tell. Okay.
Partially. Excellent. But apparently you have some news for us to chat about today.
Indeed, it's been an interesting and busy time. Busy as a bee. Did I say that? Maybe.
Kind of.
Wow, kind of. But you know, John, this is really exciting news for me because this is about a bigger thing. You were seeing the rise of platforms. This is tremendous. Dating apps aren't just for dating anymore.
They are not just for dating anymore. It's interesting, and we know that Bumble has Bumble BFF, right? Best friends forever. It's just for friends. It's not romantic relationships. It's something that a lot of people are missing these days. You know, Zoom is just not enough. Slack sucks. Even StreamYard, Peggy. I mean, you know, we use it pretty well, but even StreamYard, not quite good enough. So in the first 3 months of this year, the time spent on Bumble BFF increased by 44% for women and 83% for men. So that's really interesting. It's a new opportunity for dating apps to expand their horizons. Hey, it's not just about romantic relationships. It's about meeting people and enjoying life.
It's about what we had someone on one of our many shows, John, who talked about what this was. This was about connection and community and thinking about ways to monetize it. That's why you're seeing dating shows on dating app platforms. You're seeing more entertainment because there's the audience, there's the eyeballs, there is the money. The money will follow. Very, very smart. And that's why the other piece of news is very interesting. Riot Games is now a music label. Super smart.
It is super smart. You know what? Streamers want to stream, right? And sometimes you want some music to go along with that, right? You know, you're busy killing off a bunch of orcs or driving a car or whatever, and there's got to be something else going on. So some music is good. They want to stream, they want to use music, and rights holders don't really like that. And while platforms like TikTok license a lot of music, probably fairly inexpensively because it's just little bits, streamers stream for hours. So Riot released some lo-fi beats. League of Legends gamers can now game and stream with some chill beats and not worry about getting banned from YouTube or Twitch or any other place like that.
Super smart. Now we just have to wait and see if Spotify goes into a game or music while you date. I don't know. I'm thinking this through, John. There's a paradigm shift going on here, right?
Yep. No dumb ideas. You never know what'll actually
Yeah.
go. I would be shocked, actually. I'll put this on record. I'll be shocked if Spotify does not come out with a game in the next decade. So I'm totally covering my butt here by giving it a decade lifespan. You know, it'll probably happen in a couple of years, but I'd be shocked if they don't. It'd be kind of interesting to see. And who knows? but I
And
do
we
have.
will have our own music label here at Mobile Heroes. So
Don't release that yet.
MHU.
That's private.
Yeah.
Wow, Peggy, you
Yeah.
totally
Well,
blew
I can
it.
see it. I can totally see it. I can see it. Rock and roll, John. So let's move it.
Welcome everyone to Mobile Heroes Uncensored, episode 10. You know what? Peggy never thought we'd make it to episode 10. I thought we'd get fired. Peggy thought we'd get sued. Neither has happened yet. So apparently we are not trying hard enough. Peggy, who are we chatting with today?
Well, we only got to episode 10, so we got 10 more to go to get there, John. Someone will get us. Someone will get us. So we have got a powerful lineup, may I say. I'll kick it off with Bjorn Videkull, head of performance marketing at Flexion Mobile. And when he's not doing app marketing, which is what he loves to be where the action is, John, both in acquisition and in real life. He's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is purple belt? Is that just above yellow? Is it just under black? Where is it fit?
It's right in the middle. So you have white belt, and then you got the blue, and then purple, and then brown and black. And then they have stuff like coral belts and red belts, but that's like the 50 years or something. Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. And walking the talk here because he has a podcast too, John. He discusses 80s action movies called aptly Last Action Heroes.
Nice.
So your favorite action hero, Bjorn?
Favorite action hero? Yeah, that would probably be John McClane from Die Hard.
Okay. So definitely a yippee-ki-yay, bleep, bleep.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you can swear on the show, so.
Only Peggy's allowed to do that.
Okay. I can do that, and then he just gets his sound effects. So moving on from Bjorn, who is a mobile hero, so an action hero, mobile hero. It's a fit, John. It's great. I'll go to Lior Barak, data strategist at Tale About Data, coming to us in his evening and having a grand time. Little cheers to you, Lior, with your wine. So at Tale About Data, when you're not helping startups make smart decisions about using data, you are also a podcaster. We're all podcasters, John.
Wow.
And
is anybody listening? Everybody's talking.
Everyone's talking. He's also an author. You might know one of his books, John, but the best one is his upcoming book because he loves cooking and he loves writing. So I think he gets the two mixed up a little bit. Second book coming up, almost had the title, Monetize Your Data. Pardon?
Almost had this title, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll give it away because you changed it, but it's even better. The change is even cooler, right? So almost had the title, Monetize Your Data Like a Falafel Sandwich.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, that's the follow-up to the hummus, isn't it, Lior?
Yep. It's the second one.
That's it. Data like hummus. But he's going to change it, John. Wasabi your data.
Wow, make it spicy.
Make it spicy. Look for it everywhere soon. And finally, Sylvain Gauchet, who heads up growth and marketing at Babbel, the language learning app. And he also mines growth gems over at growthgems.co, which is an awesome newsletter, must read. It distills growth news and wisdom down into snackable, bite-sized pieces. But he has a passion too. It's not cooking. It is his work, but his biggest nightmare is also his passion. It's working, it's marketing. And one time forgetting to reduce the daily budget cap on a Google UAC campaign. So ouch for that one.
Oh, and I wonder if that was early in Google UAC when Google UAC chewed through millions of dollars trying desperately to get smarter on your dime.
Luckily it wasn't, but they did try to get smarter, and yeah, that optimization, the first 24 hours when Google was having fun with that budget were not good.
How much spend went through? Are you willing to tell?
I am not willing to tell.
Was it six figures?
Enough that it
seven
wouldn't be too bad, but it was bad for the channel. It was in the thousands, not in the
Okay,
10,000s.
okay. Maybe hundreds of thousands.
No,
Maybe millions.
I wouldn't be here. I would have quit.
It wouldn't be.
You can't quit. You're fired.
It's a European mindset. I forgot about the firing part.
Right,
Being
right,
possible.
right. Can't be fired. I mean, you could come to work nude and it can't be fired. It's all good. Okay, Sylvain, starting with you. Welcome everybody, but starting with Sylvain, name one thing no one has ever said about you.
Your tutorial for basketball, I think, will be the one.
Okay.
I've always
That's
been
good.
in the lower end of that height curve, and when you're trying to play basketball, it's a tough one.
Yeah. There are a few Muggsy Bogues, right? There are a few, 5'7" can still dunk and all that stuff. But I'm joining you in that pool, so you're all good. You're in good company. Want to ask you, what is the most overrated metric or bogus metric that you know of in mobile marketing, and why?
All right, so apparently we can go off path there. So I won't go with a classic like downloads or something like that. I'm actually going to say App Store revenue. And
That's
the
a
reason
bold
is,
choice.
I know, that's why I chose it, is ask Netflix and Spotify what they think about it.
Yes, okay. If you're big enough, you don't have to follow the rules. I understand.
Exactly.
Cool.
I think we often hype the App Store revenue, but we don't really look at the overall picture of the business.
You know what's really smart about that is that there's a class of apps that App Store revenue, Google Play revenue is everything they get, pretty much, right? That's all the revenue. But that's a small fraction of all the revenue on mobile because of retail, which doesn't come into there, right? Actual goods being sold, Amazon's app, that sort of stuff. And the subscription apps that you say that are big enough that they, you pay elsewhere and you access the service on mobile. Smart.
So I'll continue with you, Lior. Now we know you're a super cook. What is your most underrated superpower?
Oh, this is the best one. So you see this glass of wine? The concept behind it is that I can be drunk as hell and I'm not going to curse, as though I wanted, and still be sober enough to talk to people. Like I am completely fine.
Nice.
And we
Nice.
get to
I
test
think I
that today,
share.
right,
I think
Lior?
I share that superpower actually. I'm very rarely drunk actually, but it has happened on occasion. And if you're just fairly quiet, no one notices.
You can be quiet, John?
It does happen on occasion.
Does happen. Okay. Well, he's got a great superpower because I'm not noticing anything, and here he is on the show. But we will ask you a question about mobile marketing metrics. Little test here, then, Lior. What is
Oy,
the
oy,
key?
One more glass.
Here we go. What is the key mobile marketing metric for you and why?
There is no key metric for me as I see it. No installs, no MAUs, no DAOs, all of this. I really hate them. Also, ROI, this is one of the metrics I hate the most, I think. My new favorite metric is actually something that I'm developing. Basically, it's also going to be in my second book. It's basically called user scoring, which is taking a lot of events and metadata and try to combine it into something that gives you an explanation. Are you doing a good job or bad? I think that one of the biggest challenges we have with metrics is that, great, we see revenues going up or revenues going down, but we don't have really actions behind it. We don't know, we cannot point the finger where something went wrong. Is it our advertisement? Is it something in the product maybe that is not working? And we started to investigate it. And I think that if we're looking at a super metric, or one of the best, will be actually to understand all of the funnel from the user, and at the same time also understand where things are failing. So if you will ask me what is my key component or key KPI, I would say this will be the one.
Wow. Very cool.
So it's like the all-encompassing KPI. It's events, it's actions, it's sentiment, maybe.
Metadata.
It's the metadata, it's the whole thing.
Yeah. So if you think about it, right? So a user coming from a source, he's coming from Facebook, he's coming from Google, but it's not ending there, because once he's landing on your app, then the question starts to be, okay, what action is he doing, and how likely is actually to create revenue and come back time after time? So the retention. And when you're looking at ROI, it doesn't tell you any retention. It can give you a forecast maybe of how much value you will have with this user in the next 360. But what is the probability of this user to come back? What are the key components that actually causing this user to convert at the end of the day? Is it certain features that you released, or is it just randomly because he saw an ad that he really liked? And I think that this is challenge that we're now trying to solve in some way. And we need to solve it, because it's actually creating more problems than having actions for marketeers at the end of the day.
Nice. I sense a startup coming here at some point, Peggy.
Yeah.
I don't know, the Uber metric, the one metric to rule them all. We were telling us to shut up quickly.
Very
He
cool.
may have a current employer. I don't know. Bjorn, we are going to turn to you, and we're going to ask you a very odd question. I hope you have a very odd answer for us, because the question is, what is the most illegal thing you have ever done?
Yeah, well, depends if this is outside of the statute of limitations or not.
Definitely outside.
Outside, okay. In that case, I would probably say some piracy when I was, I'm a Viking. I'm Swedish, so it's it's close connection there. Maybe download some movies, some games. When I didn't have poor student.
Days, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he picked the easy answer, Peggy. I'm pretty sure 99.9% of people at some point in their life have pirated something. Most of us didn't get caught. Some of us got our parents really upset, but it is all good. Bjorn, will the GAID or AAID, it's two names, right? I mean, come on, Google, make up your mind. Will the Android ad ID go the way of the IDFA or not?
Yeah, I would tend to believe that it will, because I feel like that's just the sentiment now in the industry that Apple is kind of driving. I don't have anything to really back this up. I think Google has hinted at it at least, and yeah, I feel like it's time to take kind of the next step, I guess, in attribution. And if that's not the IDFA or the Google ID or what have you, then it will be something else. What that is, yeah.
Google's done some things there. We've seen Flock, for instance, right? And it's a little different scenario than iOS, because we have the Google Refer, right? So we have some other sources of data there. But I fall in line with your opinion. I think it's sooner rather than later. Within the next couple of years or something like that, we'll have some sort of GAID going away along lines of IDFA, and Google will replace with something. It'll be a little more advertiser friendly because they are an ad network. But yeah, I think that's likely to happen.
It will be Google friendly, at least.
Say again, Sylvain?
It will be Google friendly, at least.
Very much like Flock. How could that be? Yeah, it's an unknown. Excellent. Okay, so we have more questions for you later, but all work and no fun makes us wealthy, and who really wants that? We also want to have some fun. So we are going to play a game that we play here occasionally, which is Ad Win of the Week. We show you two ads. You tell us which one performed better and why. We make fun of you for getting it wrong or grudgingly admit that you are correct. Awesome. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Shoot.
Everybody said yes. And Peggy has disappeared, but that's okay. We will get her back at some point. Excellent. We are going to start with you, Bjorn. This is a dating app. And in the first ad, we've got oh, we're on the wrong one.
Doesn't look like a dating app to me.
It did not.
I was like, what is going on here?
A new concept maybe
app
for a startup.
Yes, exactly. This is a dating app. The first one has sort of female icons animated on the map. The second one is I am interested in, and it's men, women, all. And which did better? A, with people on a map, or B, with I am interested in?
I would say A for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lior, is he right?
I would say also A. Actually, no. You know what?
Interesting.
B. I'm saying B.
B?
I'm changing my mind.
You're
Yes.
changing your mind.
And I'll explain
Okay,
why.
here's
Because
go
it's
ahead.
calling
Why?
for action. It's calling for action. It's like, what do you prefer?
Yeah, but it's a dating app.
Uh,
So like you want to see the pictures and
Okay.
Yeah, but there is no
well, guess
pictures. It's
what?
just like females and map, and nobody fall to this trick.
okay.
I'm saying
I thought
number
I thought it was
two.
pictures of actual women.
Not
Which is
quite,
why-
not quite. So
Can I
guess
change my
what?
answer?
Lior's right. Actually, B was 25% better. So not too bad, not too bad. Okay, we're gonna go to, well, we'll ask Lior for the first time this one. And in this case, we are starting with a finance app. And in A, you've got animated coins, a wallet. You've got also, you've got B, where you've got animated Bitcoin health progress bars. So is Bitcoin going up? Is Ethereum going down? US dollar coin? One is very graph focused. The other is money coming into your wallet. Which one did better, Lior?
Number one, I would say.
Number
here.
one. Okay. Okay. Sylvain, what do you think?
I think I'll go with B, just so I can disagree. I like the chart. I feel like it's a good like firm stopper. But
Yes.
I might be wrong.
Cool. Cool. Well, guess what? B was 55% better. So not bad. Not bad. Okay, Sylvain, your turn. You are on the hot seat, and here is A, and this is a casino app. It's sort of another kind of finance, if you want to look at it that way. The first is app information at the top, and sort of cherries and berries and stuff like that at the bottom. And the second is very similar, just flipped. So A, Caesar slots at the top. B, Caesar slots at the bottom. Which one did better?
Can I see A again?
You may see A again. Here we go. There is A, and there is B.
I will go with A.
Interesting. Well, guess what? You know what? Actually, first, Bjorn, is he right?
Definitely B.
Definitely B. You're just going B because you went A the first time. Well, guess what? Interestingly enough, it was B again. In every case this time, B was the correct answer, and we got it all wrong most of the time. So B did 33% better. So I think, Sylvain, you got one right. Lior, you got one right. Bjorn, did you get one right? You got one right
The
too.
last one, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And Peggy, you're back.
I'm back.
You were
After all
never
the
gone.
fun. Yeah, I was never gone. I was watching it from the outside, having a great time.
Yes, and now
Didn't
I
get
see your
right
comments
either.
in chat. Hey, I'm back. Let me in.
Yes. Here I am.
Excellent. Peggy, what did we learn from this, seeing all those ads go by and wrong guesses and right guesses?
Well, I would say I learned to turn everything off before I come into the studio is what I learned. Because I was thrown out. But
Yeah.
I'll make an
Or by Mac.
educated guess. I will make an educated guess. It's the simple fact that we don't always know, and we're assuming a lot of things about the elements that make up a great ad. And we're learning along the way.
Absolutely.
The
Which
learning
is why we
curve.
test stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why we test stuff. Cool. Guess what? We have to go back to work. And you know what, Lior, we're going to start with you. And you threw a grenade out there on LinkedIn recently, I believe, actually, and then you pulled the pin out as well. And you said something about funnel analysis. I think you said it was total BS or complete bunk or even something worse. I'm not totally sure. What did you say and why?
So yeah, I was trying to see what people think about funnel analysis, as I do believe 90% of it is complete bullshit if it's not used correctly. And Michael and I, who is co-hosting the podcast together with me, we had a conversation about it. And while I'm more into the product side of data, so how to structure the data and more of the overview of it, Michael is much more into analysis. So he's an analyst, he's running the data, he's extracting it. And we started to talk about funnel. And at some point, it was like, I'm telling you, if you're writing on LinkedIn that it's a completely bullshit, sorry for the word, but it means that you're going to see that 80% going to disagree with you. Everybody will say that funnel is the most important analysis they can do. And during the conversation, what we were talking about is basically that we have an idea what the user is supposed to do, and this is why we're doing funnel analysis, because we believe that it needs to go on a certain path. But in reality, users do not do it anymore. They landing in different locations. They are searching certain stuff or using certain features, but they're not always fitting the pattern of the funnel analysis. And already from starting the funnel analysis, you're already starting with a biased approach. And then everything going to, of course, going to fit for your great world where you are sitting. And Michael is so frustrated because he's running this analysis, this type of analysis, and it's always ending up in, okay, we need to do more research now to explain why the funnel analysis either matched or didn't match to what we wanted to see. And I was like, okay, you know what, let's do the experiment. And I just dropped the bomb on LinkedIn, and I think that right now it's standing on 26% agreed that it's a completely BS, and everybody else disagree with it. And it's a quite interesting test that we did, and we are going to have an interesting episode coming out of it, I think, as well, because we try to run these different aspects of funnel analysis and how we're actually falling in each of them each time after time, even when we're getting what we want to see.
I wonder if Bjorn and Sylvain agree or disagree, and if they'll be bold enough to tell you that they do disagree and why.
I mean, I do disagree that it's complete bullshit. I think I like the perspective though, and makes you think about it. But when you're looking at like an onboarding or an early experience, I still think there's a lot to learn from this funnel analysis and understanding where people are dropping off. That's I do think that you want to like be careful about trying to optimize each little step because you don't know what it affects after, further down the funnel. But yeah, so I respectfully disagree. I think there are some use cases where it's pretty useful.
Cool. Bjorn, do you disrespectfully disagree?
Yeah, no, sorry, no. Of course, I see the point of view, and I think that if you only look at it in one funnel or like you expect users to behave in the same way, then yeah, it could be BS. But I guess maybe you can specify your funnel based on the type of users that you think coming in, or to make it a bit more relevant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so maybe flow and funnel is dead too, John. Not just the funnel is dead, loyalty's dead. Why go on?
It's all dead.
I wouldn't say funnel is dead. I would just say that the analysis is dead. The type of analysis is dead. We need to think about features and users and try to figure out how we segment them better, rather than just funnel them.
If only we had one metric to rule them all, then funnel
certainly.
analysis would work again.
Okay, users.
It will come.
It will come. He's working on it, John. Get stuck
in
in that.
It will come. It will come. It's when it's going to be cooked. You know that I'm working on this book quite a lot now because I'm trying to build this in the right way, so we're not just going into, okay, here you go, take the metric and just drop dead afterwards, but actually to try to develop something that will be challenging and will be helpful. That's, I think, the most important.
I love it.
Yeah.
It is the classic way to write a book and sell lots of copies. Tell everybody everything you know is wrong, and here's what's right. Perfect.
Trying to avoid it most of the time, but apparently it happens quite often.
Sure it does. Absolutely.
So the funnel is tougher. Something else that's tough and difficult, I'll ask you about it, Bjorn. Evaluating advertising performance since iOS 14. Is it tougher? How is it?
Yeah, well, I guess that's why I escaped from the iOS side, and now I'm completely Android at Flexion Mobile. So we're a publisher for alternative Android app stores. But yeah, for sure, it's tougher, and it's going from the deterministic model to the probabilistic model, which is a challenge. And yeah, I mean, I think personally, as a marketer, I mean, yeah, it's making our jobs harder, but at the same time, it was getting a bit too easy, almost like like you can just you don't have to do as much or to justify your decisions, I guess. So that part will be more like traditional marketing, where you have to actually try to justify your budget and how much you can spend, and based on other things than just pure return on ad spend. So yeah.
This is really interesting, because not only do we have a case of our first IDFA refugee here, but we also see, and I did the analysis for Singular recently, ad spend is transitioning over to Android quite significantly because of all this. But we also might be seeing job security for marketers, because if it's getting tougher, if it's getting less deterministic, less that a machine learning model, an AI model can just run it. I'll optimize my spend. I'll, invent some creatives. I'll rejig them a few million times, see what works, and follow where there's revenue. That's pretty interesting, actually.
Or they come up with another metric, John. That's what they do. I was going to ask Bjorn with a workaround, but his workaround is just go to a company that uses Android. Jump ship. So I have to ask you then, Sylvain, if you can't rely on IDFA, right? What are you looking at? You're looking at scan data, maybe incrementality, upper funnel metrics. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I will start with the product analytics actually, but in terms of advertising, I think you can look at Apple Search Ads, because that's the only place where tracking actually got improved. And then otherwise, you have to look in different places, right? Like on the platforms, conversions are modeled, like for your ad groups created, so you have some idea of what's happening, and then you look at scan wherever you can, but then you have thresholds, so you don't have the full picture either. I feel like now it's like looking at different pieces of the puzzle and trying to get a sense of what's actually happening. But the product analytics, so I feel like they don't lie.
So another thing that we're hearing about, another approach we're hearing a lot more about, because you can say, well, there's some hidden value if you can master this, right? Incrementality. So I'll keep with you, Sylvain, because you've been writing about it. I've been watching it. That's what a lot of Growth Gems uncovers in minds. Do you use it at Babbel?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to use it as you experiment, as you launch new channel. You have to look at the impact on your overall mix and your organic and all of that. The problem is, once you have an established app with lots of volume, let alone if you do acquisition on both the web and the app, like good luck seeing a difference of 50 sales per day, when you do a change. So incrementality works when you have significant changes, I feel. But if you do smaller tests and experiments, it's very hard to see. And I know like some people are working on some tools and stuff like that, but it's definitely a challenge.
Also like retargeting is quite a good use case for incrementality, right?
The thing is, I feel like the retargeting, if you compare not retargeting with retargeting someone on like one channel, I feel like you don't have the full picture, because you're missing out on all the other signals that person might have seen, like a billboard. So I don't know, I've always been a little cautious of like specific channel retargeting incrementality, but
That's really interesting, Sylvain, because Peggy and I, on a different podcast, we interviewed a senior leader at Clorox, and she had a very interesting term. She called it surround sound marketing, where she was blanketing multiple channels and multiple ways of reaching customers in an effort to say, hey, you heard about me here, you heard about me on social, you saw me in search, you saw me, blah, all those sorts of things, and some ads as well, right? And when we look at incrementality or maybe media mix modeling, we look at a pretty complex world, right? Media mix modeling, we need months of data, right? Perhaps incrementality, you need significant changes and big changes to really see what's going on as Lior drinks more wine, because all these things are very, challenging and difficult and break our brains. Do you see them being useful? I see you drinking that vodka, Bjorn. Absolutely. Yeah. Nice try. It's not water. We know that.
I am Swedish. So, yeah.
You're allowed to do it.
I can add here something from the perspective of incrementality analysis. So when I worked at Zalando, I think since 2017, we've done already incrementality testing, even before it's became so hot as it is today. It's a tough thing. It's also very, I think, complex to get results out of if you're not really, really focused on what you're trying to achieve there. And I really love incrementality because I think it's giving you the right approach, but you need to know how to shut down certain areas or certain channels and see how it's jumping up and down. And some results will be even surprising to a lot of people who think that something is working really well, and by doing incrementality, they're going to figure out maybe not. It's super interesting approach to actually deal with the uncertainty or the missing of knowledge.
You need an amazing amount of discipline, don't you, to have the guts to shut some stuff down and do a real test that's more than just a couple days long, correct?
Yeah, we're talking here about weeks, if not even months sometimes, that you need to shut down. And think about a case that you actually fucked up the test in the middle of it because you did something wrong, and then you cannot just restart it. It's not going to work. It's not like I can extend it now in another couple of weeks. You need to go back, let it run for a while, and then again, you can start incrementality after a couple of months. There is a lot of discipline in here. There is a lot of control that needs to be happen, and there should be a very good communication between the data scientist who's setting up the incrementality testing to the marketeers who are actually executing it at the end of the day to ensure that it's actually running smoothly between the two parties.
What a total paradigm shift, Peggy. I mean, you're talking marketers who are used to IDFA, marketers who are used to the Android advertising ID. They can see instantly, real time almost, certainly daily, even hourly, what's happening where, what spend is doing what's driving different things. And here we're talking about, it's a 2-month test and I screwed something up 2 weeks in or 4 weeks in, and I got to restart it. And my VP growth comes to me and says, hey, you're not hitting your user acquisition targets and our growth is down and our revenue is down and you suck. And you say, well, I'm doing a test and it's going to take 2 more months. Can you hang on? And he says, no, because the board of directors is on my ass. It's a challenging world.
Complex world. That's why the other thing is complex. And I'd like to hear someone weigh in on this because I've been hearing so much and reading so much about this. Sylvain, you had some as well. Media mix modeling. Talk about complexity, months of data, very, very disciplined is also what you need to be. Is it interesting? Is it valuable? Is it something we can look at here? Sylvain,
okay, yeah. To be honest, I don't know if I have a good answer for that. Like the more complicated your mix is, the more it gives you headaches, and that might be useful. But at the same time, when you multiply the channels, including offline channels, I find it hard to actually implement successfully because the minute you're going to forget one channel, I feel like it throws the entire thing out. So yeah, like in terms of automated media mix modeling, I don't know if that's there yet.
I have a personal bias here, and I'd love to just play it by you guys, Lior, Bjorn, Sylvain, and just, see what you think. I think that there's probably some value in incrementality and maybe even media mix modeling, but we still have deterministic data on iOS. It's called SKAD network. We still have deterministic device level data on Android. It's called the Android Advertising ID. And those plus upper funnel metrics that you get from every single ad partner that you use give you a pretty good sense of what's going on, a pretty good sense of what's happening. Now we're talking last click, which has inherent challenges and problems, which, hopefully incrementality can help you with. We're talking about a very complex world in which external events, other people's marketing, weird things changing with algorithms to app stores and Google Play can happen without your knowledge and without your control. So I think you take the data that you can get, and you probably run some incrementality type stuff as well, increasingly over time. But you take the data you can get, you optimize as best you can, and you know what's happening in your own app with your own first party data, and you look at what's going on with that. Lior, I see you nodding your head. Is that accurate?
I completely agree. So you need to use as much as possible first party data. And there is another way that you can maybe test actually the traffic that you're producing is by creating advertisement for certain features or certain products. And then think about playing with the creatives rather than playing with the incrementality or go to the heavy games. But you can do quick wins by setting up the creatives and try to test with them and see what happens.
Wow.
I think that this is something that we overlooked a little bit, but this is a key thing actually to try to test.
Cool.
So I don't know if you remember, Peggy, but back in 2016,
I do.
we were talking about elements inside creatives and how to analyze them. And that's exactly the point. Nobody until now have really adapted it to a level that they analyzing the elements inside the creatives to try to figure out which one is driving better traffic or not. And if it's, we were talking about a dating app, so just change between a brunette hair to a blonde hair and see if it's converting better, which one of them working for you better. And it's already giving you quite a lot of indications also later on how to develop the product on the one side and on the other side, which one is working and what is converting or not.
But on iOS
that
becomes much harder though.
Yes.
It will always be, it will be impossible, but then you will need to use the data that you're getting from Facebook or Google that you're advertising on and try to combine it into a mathematical answer, let's call it, that's going to give you at least an indication. And you can save quite a lot of time.
Yes,
so think about
if you're using SKAD network campaigns and there you only get 8 of them or 9 of them, and 80 of them are being used for their black box. Do you still get creative analysis on from Facebook or Google?
You can still get some if you're going to control it. But once you're giving it to the black box, it's always will be that the black box going to win against you. Yeah. There is no exit here. But in whatever you have control, you should have as much control over there, and then feed it to the black box and let them do whatever they want with it, and you don't care.
Right.
And this is an approach that I think that we tend not to do because it's a lot of manual work on the one side, and it's a lot of controlling that we need to do along the campaign, right? So it's not just drop it and go away. But this can be an interesting experiment if you're trying to actually overlook incrementality or too complex solutions.
I like it a lot, but it is a challenging and complex world we're going into. It's actually kind of a good thing because you know what, as Bjorn was saying, it was getting too easy, and we need to make it more complicated. So excellent. Let's talk a little bit about in-app, because we talked a little bit about first-party data. You know what's going on inside your app. You know what's happening. You can control that, and that's first-party data. What are the most useful metrics for existing users? Lior, let's start with you on that, because you've talked about funnel analysis. You've thought about this deeply. You're writing about it, and you're inventing a new compound metric for user value. What are the most useful metrics that you see?
So it's starting from the onboarding process already. This is the most important part, I would say, because the engagement on the onboarding part is the most important. If you understand how users are onboarding and how they consent or don't consent when you're showing them the consent points, then you already can understand how much they engage with the product. And then after that, it's just to see which features they're using or not. And I was having a conversation a few weeks ago regarding a feature cost. That, for example, nobody linking how much did it cost me to develop a feature, how much did it cost me to maintain a feature, and then what is the usage of it? Because maybe a feature that we spending quite a lot of money on, we just throwing it to the garbage because nobody know about it or nobody uses it. And this is where we start to actually go at the metrics. So which features are the most popular ones, which ones are being used, and then you can understand better also on the first party data what's going on in your app.
I love that. It's almost like B2B SaaS companies actually who track that pretty closely. Bjorn, your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So at my previous company at Pickpock Games, so obviously a game company, we did, we were using usually the purchase event to optimize for, but then we saw that was kind of getting, less and less profitable, or didn't work as well, especially on iOS. And so then we did some research into other events in the funnel that has a high correlation to the purchase event, but it's not necessarily that close to it. And then we found a specific event that we started using that actually worked a lot better than what we had before. So yeah, I think definitely analyze your user behavior and what sort of actions they take to get to the event you want them to take. And you might find some interesting things in there.
That's interesting, because what you're doing is you're optimizing to an event that's ultimately going to lead to the other event. But if you get them that far, you're home free. So you want to get them that far, and the rest of it is almost their natural choice. So it makes a lot of sense.
And it's usually a upper funnel event as well, so you have more data for optimization.
A lot of that
you
happens
on
around
iOS right now
registration.
too, because you need those upper funnel events conversions right now if you want to do any sort of PLTV on iOS and get that data from SKAD network.
Yeah, so things like registration, now that is the big deal, because you get them that far, then you'll get them further. Let's look at it the other way around. Let's turn it around. It's great to know what to do about your existing users, but what about the ones that are looking to churn? The uninstalls. You learn a lot from that. You can learn which features aren't working, to your point, Lior. What is absolutely not something that's attractive, or what sucks, if you want to put it that way. And you can also get an idea of when and where in that cycle. So I'll stay with you, Bjorn, because you're looking at this as a performance marketer. Do you track this? Do you look at uninstalls?
Not a whole lot, but there has been cases when we have looked at or trying to do some sort of like exit survey for users who churn, to try to understand like why they churn, and then take some actions accordingly. Like if it's a price issue, then maybe give them a discount to come back, or if it's something else, then you might have some other re-engagement or retargeting plan that you can make from that. But other than that, I mean, it's obviously something you should be aware of when your users churn and why they churn.
It's really interesting actually to track maybe product changes to churn or usage, right? I mean, I play a game, it's got a battle component to it. And they recently made a change like a week ago, which is that if you don't show up in the game every day, you lose battle points. So you accumulate battle points, and that's, you accumulate basically how important, how good, how strong, how powerful you are in the game. And you might be at 3,000 or 5,000 and everybody looks, whoa, they're pretty good, right? And now I find if I not in there every day, I'm losing battle points and I'm not there. And guess what? It turns out to be a reverse incentive. You're going to do that? Fine. I'm out of here. It's like,
Yeah, it was kind of similar on the early kind of, the Farmvilles and those games where you had to come back and tend to your farm. Otherwise, it goes to shit. but yeah, like for me as well, yeah, that's kind of like almost the opposite reaction, that I wouldn't bother.
Sort of like real life. How about you, Sylvain? You look at a lot, and I know that you're writing about this uninstalls. I haven't seen you dive into that though. Does it have value?
Well, I dive into what podcasts and webinars and panels dive into. So it is true that it's a topic that not that many people talk about, even at the basic level. We do track uninstall. I think at the basic level, you want to know which source brings installs, of course, but also what the uninstall rate is. I think that's especially relevant for Google, where it's everybody assumes that retention and installs are taken into account into rankings and keyword rankings. And so if you launch a channel and you see lots of installs, you might get excited a little too soon, because turns out your uninstall rate might be also pretty high and kind of hurting you in the long run. So I think at the basic uninstall level, that's something not necessarily you need to track every day, but it's a check on your channels that you want to do from time to time, and potentially reassess different your different channels.
Yeah, if I was a product manager for a mobile app, I'd want to keep a sort of a running chart of product changes or enhancements and uninstall rates, and just see if there's a correlation between those two things. Interesting. Not a ton of time left, so this one is be a brief one because it's super simple. It's easy. It's the easiest question I'm going to ask you guys today. The year is 2025. What has changed about marketing measurement in mobile? So the year is 2025. What has changed about marketing measurement in mobile? Bjorn, you got first dibs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I call it an easy question, but
no problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I would hope that there would be like a unified, universal way of tracking users. That's
you are going to be very disappointed, my friend.
Yeah,
that will not happen.
Probably not going to happen. But I don't know. I think we'll we will overcome this on iOS side. Like there will be solutions and tools coming out that will make our lives a bit easier. But yeah, it's hard to say. But I think there'll be more players as well. Like the more app stores.
Okay, more competition.
Absolutely.
More
competition.
Antitrust will come to play. Yep. Yeah. And Bjorn is going the DSX Machina route. The machine will save us. Somebody will bring us some tool that will help. Lior, the year is 2025. What does marketing measurement look like?
So yeah, I agree that it's going to be breaking down into more app stores, I think, because let's face it, nobody admitted, but the move from Apple for privacy changes that IDFA is going to disappear. It just fight about budget, and this is where we're going to go towards. And I think that from the metrics perspective, we're going to see more and more breakdowns, more and more silos. So you want to advertise for Android users, this is how you do it. That's it. You want to do it for Facebook OS, which there are rumors that they're working on something, and God knows what they're going to release, because the last time it was horrible. Maybe we're going to see that. Amazon also working on their own infrastructure, right? So they had the Fire that they tried to do. Now they're going to do maybe another comeback for something else. And I believe that this is the direction we're going. But the most interesting part that I think that nobody talks about is maybe how we incentivize users to actually give us the data. And I think that this will be the big change. I offer you money back for you to give me the information so I can make money on top of you. And maybe this is the direction that we're going to go towards with 2025, hopefully.
Interesting. And get your app kicked off of the Apple the Apple App Store, because that might be against the terms of service, but we'll find out. But Lior is saying the future is much like China. Many manufacturers, many app stores, lots of metrics from all of them, and very, very challenging. Sylvain, the year is 2025. What has changed about marketing measurement?
Yeah, I mean, in mobile years, that's a lot. So I think a lot can change. But at the same time, I don't think we can underestimate how hard it is for a new app store to come up and become, a real player. Like Huawei was, seemed to have been doing great, and then all of a sudden it seems like they're struggling a little more. So honestly, 2025
out of the US, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I think
That had a huge
2025,
impact.
2025, you'll be still on iOS scan 7.0 with however, whatever updates iOS was okay to put in there. And then maybe you'll see more fragmentation on the Google side, but I still think that, yeah, iOS will be very present, and you'll have to deal with it and whatever attribution they have.
I think that makes sense. I think we got real challenges, and I think each of you, Bjorn, Lior, and Sylvain, have highlighted some of the changes that might come and some of the things that might stick around. We're going to end with one final question, and this one, I don't know if any of you are parents, but you could be parents. Hopefully, if you are, but you could be parents in the future as well. And this is the goodie bag segment. This is the time during the podcast where we want the one piece of advice that you're going to leave listeners and viewers with. And here's how I'm setting it up. You have a kid, and your kid is going into mobile marketing because, you guys are amazing and they want to be like you. So you get to give them one piece of advice, because of course they're not going to listen to 2 or 3 or 4 before their eyes glaze over. What is your one piece of advice for your kid who's going into mobile marketing? And Sylvain, we'll start with you.
All right. Yeah. I think I will say learn as much as you can from others, but make sure you verify, by yourself. So get a lot of perspectives, but then apply that to your specific case and see what works.
Love it.
Okay.
Trust but verify. Awesome. Lior, what would you say to your kid?
I will say to my kid, use data and listen to the veterans of the industry, because I think that everybody who's been to the mobile industry for a couple of years is containing a lot of knowledge that it doesn't matter how much you will try to invent yourself from the beginning. Somebody already done it, tried it, and use it.
Absolutely. Excellent. Bjorn, your kid is going into mobile marketing against all your recommendations, and your advice is?
No, I would echo what Lior and Sylvain said. I also think it's important to work with different verticals, or like different monetization models, and also to work with things that you're personally interested in, because as a marketer, it makes it easier than to do the job well. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Love it. Absolutely. Well, Bjorn, Sylvain, Lior, you guys have been amazing. You've been insightful. You've even been funny. And that has been impressive, right, Peggy?
Absolutely. Great lineup. Some good stuff to end with as well. Test, verify, looking for the truth beyond the data. It's enlightening, as I'll leave it there.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So, Peggy, you have some mobile heroes in the news.
We do indeed. We have some happy mobile heroes in the news, John. We got some money changing hands here.
Wow.
Absolutely. I was reading this and I was amazed myself. It's like, valuation of what? But it's kicking it off. Scott Palmer. So Scott Palmer is director of marketing at Jam City Games. And I have to say, it is spectacular, John.
Oh, come on.
I have to do that.
Wow.
Because they're going public through a SPAC deal, and they have 1.2 billion valuation at this point, just after acquiring Ludia. So you can tell that Scott is looking, what I would say, properly chilled.
He is looking properly chilled. I would too, with a $1.2 billion valuation. But every time I hear SPAC, I have to think back to the TechCrunch article that came out a bunch of months ago and says, you got to SPAC a SPAC with a SPAC for a SPAC to get SPAC'd, or it was hilarious.
I love the words we come up with. I got another very chilled hero coming, and this is really amazing. I was like, seriously? So this is what we value. We value sneakers, John. I don't know if you're a sneaker man. Are you a sneaker man, John?
I'm Canadian. We call them runners.
Oh my God. Okay, runners. That's why I get my stocking, but we won't go to that point. But no, okay,
Sneakers are
sneakers.
for like special forces, special services. I don't know, FBI, NSA. They sneak around, right? I mean,
You're Canadian. I can tell. I can tell.
yes.
Very chilled Mike Fu, director of growth at the GOAT Group. Triple unicorn, John. The GOAT Group has closed a Series F, swelling its valuation to $3.7 billion.
So I was going to ask you to educate me because I did not know what a triple unicorn was. But given that you just said it was over 3 billion, I guess I understand it now.
Absolutely. He's director of growth, so we won't say, to what extent, but you can bet he's got some really smart ideas and he's put them to use and it is paying off. And I have to check it out. Now I have to think about if everybody's into sneakers, I have to take a look at it too. I've got a couple of really cool pairs of Nike, but haven't been paying a lot of attention to them. Michael Jordan's, if you have those, I think you can get a small car for that, John. So
yes, the right ones.
the one I have, they're a little worn out, but hey, glue them back together and sell them. All right, moving on, we have Erica Carter, formerly marketing manager at Ibotta, now very high flying at Scott's Cheap Flights, moving up in the company now to senior manager growth marketing. And I guess that's what it is, John. Travel is coming back big time.
Wow, I've had 3 requests to travel in the last couple weeks. It's the kind of the first request I'm getting after COVID, getting my second shot next week. So yeah, getting close to being back, I guess.
Getting close. I was even thinking of Mobile World Congress, which is something I gave up on a while back, but it looked like so much fun. I thought, why not? I'll go take a look at some boxes and some cables and some things like that. But
Yeah.
and finally, Bruna Amaya. She was formerly head of marketing at Hotel Urbano. And of course, hotels hit pretty bad, but now she's director of marketing at Sammy. That's a healthcare app, and it's overtaking Brazil, really expanding into new cities, averaging 50% member growth per month. So really, again, another high-flying, fast-moving mobile hero, and we report on them here.
What a boss photo. Holy cow. That is not bad. I like that a lot. I don't know. I need Liftoff to make me a mobile hero and get some shots like that. I mean, I've got my portfolio set for life after that.
Seriously, they will actually. The best photos come from when you're a Liftoff mobile hero. Before that, you look like you're wanted in several states, but afterwards, hey.
Yes, that's my typical look. Absolutely. How did you know?
And afterwards, it's just like chill, or I have my guitar. Even if you don't play it, it looks really cool. We do have a mobile hero coming who is going to bring his electric guitar. I cannot wait. But that's a little bit later. That's a later in the summer. And I told him when he comes, bring it along and we'll have some fun. We'll jam.
Well, we did talk about the Mobile Heroes Uncensored album, the
Yes,
music
we did.
label, right? So, I mean,
Yes.
absolutely. I can't wait for it. Peggy,
Yeah.
it was another great show. This is 10 episodes. We have survived. I think we've kind of thrived. I think we've kind of done something just a little bit cool. I think we've done something, kind of awesome, actually. So, congratulations. Great job. And I look forward to our next 100 episodes.
Indeed. We will make it through them. I don't know how we'll look by then, John, but we'll make it through the 100 and beyond that. And it's been great co-hosting with you. You have made my Fridays when we do this. It's like end of the week and I'm grumpy and it's been a long week. It's like, no, John is going to make me laugh, which is absolutely friggin' impossible, but you manage it every time. It's a
Wonderful.
joy. It's a joy,
Wonderful.
John.
It is, and
Hey,
boom. See you
I
next
could do
time.
that. You're on.
If you say something later that you say, oh shoot, I'm gonna get fired if you share that, just let us know. We can edit. It costs in Bitcoin, but we will edit. I'm joking. We do try and catch you with our jokes when you're taking a swallow, like Sylvain just did there. But that's all good as well. Sylvain, can we hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
1,
you're
2,
a little
3.
distant, but it's not horrible. We've had worse. You're in the bottom 10 percentile, but it's all good.
Ooh, that's not good. That's not good.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Awesome. We ready to go here, Peggy? Are you all good?
Yeah, there was just one thing and now I completely zoned on it. I remember now. Housekeeping tips. When I call you out, it would be great if you could acknowledge that and maybe just say hey or hi or like that, John. Yeah. Or Bjorn will do some moves, I'm sure.
Some
Bust
moves.
a move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try.
I'll do some
This
Wonder
is me
Woman stuff
dancing.
here.
Sorry.
I love this show because it takes
I
place
know,
at
it's too
8 p.m.
sexy.
my
I'm
time,
sorry.
and there's at this point, it's like I've had my day already. So let it happen.